Hello and welcome, my name is Dan, and today I want to talk to you about Fortnite and how it can be addictive, especially to kids. So I've been shown this article about this mother. She mentioned that her son plays a lot of Fortnite, and while he plays Fortnite, he is being quite aggressive, which is quite normal when you play multiplayer games, I think. But then after he would leave the game, he would be aggressive towards his family. And that made me think, this is a bit like a sign of addiction in a way. So if you have noticed lack of kids on the street, children talking about this weird new thing called Fortnite, weird sudden movements like dabs, and overall improvement in internet social skills, then I think it is safe to say that your kid might have played a bit too much of Fortnite. This video goes out to my little brothers because I'm pretty sure they are watching this right now, so hi. I'm making this video kind of aimed at parents who don't really know much about Fortnite or gaming in general. So what is Fortnite? Fortnite is a bit like Hunger Games. The genre of the game is called Battle Royale because it means that there's 100 people dropped onto this island and the last one who stands alive wins the match. This isn't the only game of this genre that's kind of making it very big at the moment. There is also PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, but this is the most popular game between children because it is free and the graphics of Fortnite, colourful and cartoonish, it appeals to this sort of demographic more. So the gameplay of Fortnite consists of 8 different sections. So the first one is a peaceful gathering little area before a match starts where all the players are kind of gathered and await. Where all the players are gathered and they are all waiting for the match to start. The players are free to just run around and kind of interact with one another, you know, dance and stuff. And then when 100 players is collected, the next section begins, the flying section, where every player is put on this flying party bus and the bus flies over this map, which is the arena for the match. While this happens, the players are looking at the map to kind of find where they want to land, hoping that this area will have all the resources and weapons for them to have a fair chance at winning the match. So once the bus is reaching this area that the player has chosen to land, the player then jumps out from the bus and parachutes, actually no, glides, they don't really do parachutes. They have this glider which is a bit like a parachute, but it allows for the player to maneuver exactly where they want to fly. So then the player lands and is starting to look through houses or caves or terrain for chests which hold rare items such as better weapons or ammunition or healing. They are randomly scattered around the whole map, so every time you land, every time you play a new game, the game will be somewhat different because of the items you will start with. Gameplay wise, what makes Fortnite stand out is its building system. So the players also kind of destroy houses or mine rocks, cut down trees to gather resources which will then allow them to play for longer, and build their own base at the later stage of the game. So once the player is equipped, you just have to survive till the end of the match, and if you are the last one standing, you win. So at this point the player can start killing other players or just hiding away, waiting for everyone else to kill each other. And both of these strategies are quite good, and I think when you use them 50-50 it makes for the best experience, because obviously you do want to engage with other players and be able to shoot them to have fun, and if you let other players kill them, you know, kill each other, I think that gives you more of a chance to actually win the whole match. However, there is another part of the game which I haven't really mentioned, which I should have mentioned at the start, but this is so just standard in the genre that I kind of forgot to mention it. So in every match, the whole island that the match takes place on is surrounded by this barrier which is called a storm, and basically it's like a massive circle surrounding the whole island, and with time it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, which kind of pushes players to kind of just move on, and eventually it makes them all come together at this one tiny area where the game will finish. If you stay outside the barrier, so if it kind of swallows you, then you will lose health and you can potentially die. The smaller the circle gets later in the game, the more damage the circle does to you. So say you've made it to about 20 players left, and this is around the time where everyone is starting to build their own sort of bases from the resources gathered earlier on in the game. And this introduces this very cool system. Just click my fingers, hope people don't really mind. Okay, I did it again. So that introduces a new system of building, which is another very big section of the game. I think most of the time, most of these buildings will just be massive towers, which will allow the player who built it to kind of just snipe everyone around the area. So when the match reaches the last 10 players, this is the most dopamine packed sort of section of the match, because there is not much hiding around. Everyone is kind of just like fighting, because everyone knows that they've come so far now, so they want to push. And this is only, you know, most of the time, most of these players will be really good, and then the best of the best will fight each other for the first place. And the one who is the last one standing wins the match and gets some special, I guess, item to use in the next match, and so on and so on. There are other modes in this game, such as the squad mode, which puts 4 players together in a team, and the whole match kind of changes into this fight between different teams that each have 4 players. There is a double, which is 2 players against other doubles, and there are other variants that kind of only come out for a couple of weeks. Like there was this one which was 50 against 50, so there were just 2 big sides fighting each other. Recently there was 20 versus other 20s, and this is the point where kind of the addiction to the game will start, because I believe that the sort of visual aspect of the game, so the very colourful, cartoony graphics, make parents think that the children are playing a very children-friendly game, but it's not quite so, because in those gameplay mechanics and the stakes, it creates this very sort of dopamine-packed, addictive experience. It isn't your average Mario or Sonic, where you just kind of jump on some enemies and you kill them, and if you die then it's fair enough, go to a checkpoint and revive, you know, and do that same thing again. This is multiplayer, so this is where children are competing with other people, and competition is very addictive. So when parents look at that game, they kind of think that this game isn't very that deep, you know, it's not really gonna be that intense. But the gameplay of this game is actually quite intense, and the game itself is free, so the children don't even have to ask the parents for money to buy this game. So the parents are not really that involved into the children playing this game at all. They don't actually really know what it is, I don't think. So I'm just gonna go through the addictive aspects of this game. So we have the gameplay. So as I explained already, the gameplay is actually quite intense because of the competition. Each game tells a different story, so it's very hard to get bored of this game, because every time you will play, even though the sections are pretty much exactly the same, you will play an entirely different game based on the random items that you find or the different places that you will land in. And because of the competitive side of the game, it is very dopamine packed. So, and dopamine, as we know, is something that your brain produces while you are getting your fix of whatever you're addicted to, or whenever you're doing something that you like and you're doing it well. But let's say the things haven't turned out as you planned and you have died. It doesn't actually take that long for the new match to be generated. So I don't think children and their attention span gets that challenged by it, I don't think. Because as we know, children don't really have much of an attention span. I think for the child, because of how fun they find the gameplay, waiting 2 minutes isn't really that much of a hassle. Fortnite, being an online co-op game, offers the social aspect as well. So when I was growing up, obviously every teenager was using MSN to send, you know, instant messages to their friends and stuff. So Fortnite offers this kind of social thing, because you can quite easily just plug in any sort of headset with a microphone and you're talking to your friends on it. So not only are you communicating with your friends in a bit better fashion than like we used to, but you also get this fun thing to do together while you do it, so play Fortnite. And the game itself does not really go stale because the developers quite often put in new locations on the map and new items and vary it up with different game modes and stuff, so there's always something new to find in the game. And this equals with some knowledge and skill that you gather through playing this game, which only gets you more excited to play more of this game because you already know that you're good, so being good is something that will make the game even better, and like if you continue being good and growing better and better and better, then more likely is the chance that you will continue playing the game. And because of the knowledge and skill aspect of this game, it is very easy for children to then go to school and the next day and talk to their friends about the game for hours and hours and hours. Recently I was on the bus trying to get to my workplace or uni, and I was just surrounded by boys who were going to school, and they were all talking about Fortnite, about this new item that they found or this new location, or like where those special chests are hidden within the buildings and stuff. There's a lot of this knowledge that those children gather in this game that then they can talk about and express and educate other children with. And you know, being knowledgeable and being able to teach something to somebody is quite a nice feeling, so I think this is also how the game is addictive to those better players as well. So yeah, these were my thoughts about Fortnite and how it is addictive to children. I think the main thing with this kind of a thing is that parents don't really know what the children are doing, and they only realize when it's too late. So like when the children are actually affected by the game with, for example, like the kid from the article with anger and addiction. I think if parents actually paid more attention to what the children are doing in the free time, especially when interacting with other people online, I think those problems would be prevented quite a bit more easily, I would say. So if you think your kid is playing this game a bit too much, or any game, or if your kid is doing anything really and enjoys it, I think you should, as a parent, kind of be knowledgeable about what it is and how it's going to affect your kid. You know, it's always nice when a parent actually gets involved with whatever the child is doing. That would be proper English, but as I said, I warned you, there's a Polish person, you might need a dictionary. So this has been my video about Fortnite and how it is addictive. If you like this video, leave a like. If you want to see more of me, then subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.